What's going on, Myles?
Sorry.
So, poke.
Are we live?
I mean, depends on your definition, I suppose.
Yeah. Are we alive or just breathing? I love that Killswitch Engage album, if anyone remembers that, from the early 2000s.
I don't remember that.
No.
Killswitch Engage fell into a whole group of like post-grunge type music that was on the radio station that I listened to. And I was like, I just kind of passively listened to it. I'm sure I recognize more than one song, but I don't know their music very well.
You saying that reminds me of one of the first times I ever came to America. It was like 20 years ago.
Actually, it was America.
And I was sitting in the car, parents were driving, and on the radio they were playing like Disturbed and other metal songs. And I was like, what? They played this music on the radio? That's not a thing in the UK on the main radio. And it just felt like, wow, this is what freedom is. Land of the free. This is it. This is
what freedom is. WAAF, born to rock Boston. This is what freedom is. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, no, it blew my mind.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. Well, you know what? Let's start the show, man. Speaking of freedom, we have the freedom to start the show whenever we want. This is what freedom is. Born to rock Boston. Somebody put me out of my misery. This is PSVR GAMESCAST Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Two Wise Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, PSVR without Parole. This channel right here for your viewing pleasure for all those who like to listen with your ears. I give up. Then head on over to the podcast service of your choice and check us out in MP3 format. My name is Brian Paul from the channel right here, PSVR without Parole. And the gentleman to my left, your right, it's Myles Dyer from Myles Dyer Official /YouTube.com/Myles/ all sorts of other social media places. Just look him up. You'll find him. He's the only one out there.
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Hey, GameCats.
Hey.
Happy Friday. Hope you are all doing well. Where are the games, Brian? Where are the games? Because, my goodness, so many dropped this week, and we got more coming. And then October is just going to be a fright fest. Would you say that this October is going to be the best October for PlayStation VR since the beginning of PlayStation VR?
Yes. I think this October is going to be the best month for VR since the advent of VR. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't even come close, does it? Like, normally you'd get 1 or 2 horror games. I could be wrong, but...
I mean, fuck horror games. Like, not... Like,
right.
Not only we're getting Tennis Encore and Vertigo 2 and a ton of horror games. I really do think it's going to be one of the best months for VR, period, ever since the dawn of time. Although the Sega VR headset comes close, I think.
It does indeed.
Myles, you just got back from WASD. You were there on Thursday or Friday or something, I believe. I don't have zero sense of time for anyone out there who's keeping track of my my physical status. I was sick for the last week. Yesterday I got better, and then today sick again. I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. But you, Myles, have been out and about, repping without Parole, proudly, waving our colorful flag with a cute little cat on it. I do want to get an actual flag so it doesn't have to be metaphorical in the future. What was WASD all about, man? There's a lot of people out there who don't know what it is, kind of including myself. So fill these cats in.
Yeah, so it is a gaming convention that takes place in London, and it happens every year in April. And the reason I totally missed this one until last week, because a friend said they were going, was because they're doing 2 a year now, I assume. They definitely did 2 this year because they obviously did an extra one at the moment, and that's in association with IGN. And so they have all these stands where you can sit down and play games. They have a careers area, so they have talks about getting into the gaming space and, you know, what it's like to create. I think there was a talk on how you create your portfolio if you want to be a game narrative designer. So some really interesting talks. And then they've got a press area, business lounge, creators lounge. And it's just a great coming together. And so today, being Friday, is the second day. My plan was to go yesterday and today. I went yesterday, and I felt I had a good amount. I got to see everything I wanted to see because it was very quiet, being a weekday. The busy day is going to be tomorrow for Saturday. But I got to see a lot of creators I hadn't seen before in person. And I got to meet some great devs. And just to give you a bit of flavour of it, and actually the first thing I will say was I got to hang out with my buddy Robert Pearson from PlayStation Access. We got to catch up, which was great. And Nath, he used to be a former host of PlayStation Access, but now he works behind the scenes, had great conversations in the evening about PlayStation VR. Without talking too much off topic with WASD, for anyone that had seen this week that PlayStation Access did a live stream of Firewall Ultra. They were doing the co-op mode together, and all four of them were in the same room with 4 headsets, which was amazing to see. And I was actually kind of curious to see if 4 headsets would work in the same room, but they seem to work very, very well. But yeah, it was great. The only stand that was there was for a PSVR2 game was Rapid Eye Movement. Is it Rapid Eye Movement? Have I got that right? With C Smash. Their branding is just absolutely top form, and so you could go and play the game, and they played all the sound out the speakers, which makes it very nerve-wracking because when you give it a go, yes, you're in the headset, but not having headphones on, and every time you hit the ball, you just hear that thwack really loud coming out of speakers, knowing it's echoing around this conference room. But it was really great to see a lot of people that hadn't done VR before experiencing it. And it was also the day, I think they launched just Wednesday night. They shadow dropped it. But it was a new patch which had like 45 new levels. They got this Uncle mode based on the music artist. They got this new music box. They've got an AI bot you can now play against. So if you've got no one to play with human players, you can still play games. They've got co-op mode. So that was amazing. And I got to meet up with Jörg, obviously the creator of C Smash, and just to give people a bit of perspective of like what it is like doing things like Without Parole online and then going into the real world is, you know, there's the human element of it,
which I still know nothing about, by the way.
Right.
Yep.
Well, Jörg was very, very forthright, saying, "Can you guys do another review of the game?" Because it's like so much better now. And I totally respect him asking it. He wants to get a better score than what it had at launch, which I think was 6.5.
Yep.
And the reality is, and I told him, I said, the reality is, I don't do reviews. Here's Brian's address.
14th floor.
Here's a list of all his top fears. Yeah.
Right.
No, I said, look, it's Brian's call, and I said that it's not just about the score, it's about the context. I know a lot of people that have seen Brian give, like, you know, maybe a critical score of a game, but then actually like the context and go, but I would still like this game and get it. That's how I've always had a, you know, relationship with Brian's reviews and why I've always liked them. But I also said, Brian can't just keep doing updates. We also talk about the updates on the show here. So we do that. And I said, and also, Brian is working flat out and he still has so many reviews to do. But I said, you know, I'd make the case. I'd ask Brian nicely. Yeah, I mean, look, devs are really passionate about their games. And they're completely within their right to ask. But I know that you get asked by lots of people, when's our review coming out? When's our review coming out? And you're not IGN. You don't have like loads of, you know, different reviewers who write the scripts and then get other people to do the voiceovers. Yeah. This is a one-man operation. Yeah, I just found that interesting. But much love to them. They really appreciate all the work that we're doing. And they also had a gig today in London with the musicians behind the game performing. I would have loved to have seen it, but I obviously didn't go back in today. And then just a couple of other things. I'm gonna
put you full screen because I need to correct something real quick. I'll be right back.
That's cool. At lunchtime, me and Rob from PlayStation Access, we sat down with a dev and someone who worked in PR. And the guy from PR, forgive me, the name's lost on me at the moment. One of the first things he said was, "Wow, I can't believe I'm sat opposite Myles from PSVR Without Parole." And that totally blew my mind because I was just like, I go to these events. In the early YouTube days, I used to get recognised a lot more. It doesn't really happen a lot anymore. The fact that I sat opposite someone who was amazed to be sat next to someone who was from PSVR Without Parole. Goes to show the impact of Without Parole. Like, it's known in the industry. It was a young guy who'd worked for a PR firm in gaming and that. He was a 19-year-old guy. I've forgotten his name, which is killing me at the moment.
But he's way outside our demographic, Myles. There's only one of them.
Well, I was sat opposite him at lunch, and he was just like, he says how much he loves the work we're doing and stuff. So it was really cool. And I don't know, it just, when you go to these events and you're seeing it translate, it's just really, really good to see. And whenever I talk with the guys at PlayStation Access and other devs, they're always talking about how great. Oh, there we go. We've got Squash Pickle in the chat. Says, haha, I'm the guy from PR. Squash, what's your name, dude? Remind me, because you didn't introduce yourself to me as Squash Pickle. But honestly, much love, man.
That would have been great. Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, Myles, I'm Squash Pickle. It's like, yeah, that's your Christian name. Damn.
Honestly, really nice guy. And the fact that a 19-year-old guy working PR in the industry is amazing. And he's like, he was asking questions about, working his way through. I think he's absolutely smashing it. If at that age he's doing so great. So that was awesome. Last thing I'll say is I also met up for a coffee. I don't drink coffee, so I had just some water. Joshua,
why are we even friends, Myles? Hello, Joshua.
I know.
Squishy Joshua Pickle, whatever it was. Sorry.
Yeah, Squash Joshua.
Squash Josh.
But I sat down with Alejandro, who is the game director from Supermassive Games. And it was just great to catch up with him because we've spoken time to time online. Once again, he was just hyped to be meeting in person. And we spoke about everything related to Switchback, from rock music, because I love the rock music in the trailer, which is by a band called The Warning that I didn't know that he was recommending, that I'll definitely have to check out more of. He was talking about the fact that Switchback was his first horror game he ever worked on, and actually first VR project. He came from Square Enix originally. And he just gave a lot of insight of the process, and especially with the big update we were waiting for with Switchback. He says they were very disappointed when it came out and they had all those issues. And you'll remember that when the update was coming out, they kept kind of delaying the update. And he says it's because they were always ready to have an update, but they were like, no, we're not putting an update until everything is fixed. And it was just a real educational conversation about the challenges when it comes to fixing things like adding foveated rendering and things like that. I could talk a lot more about it, but he's an absolutely amazing guy, super passionate, and I'm really excited to see what him and the Supermassive Games team do with their next projects.
Nice. Well, thanks for going out there, Myles, and representing Without Parole. And also, kind of, if any developers are out there watching and they're like, oh man, why hasn't Brian reviewed our game yet, or why hasn't Without Parole reviewed our game? I think you kind of summed it up nicely. Not only we're just inundated with games, but the second I get sick, like I was for the last week, everything just goes to hell. My entire schedule goes right down the toilet. I was working on getting a Firewall review done, an Alvo review done, and I was like, absolutely, like I definitely want to get it down and out and behind the frame review done, because those are smaller games. They should be easy to get out. And now here I am. I've got to start preparing for next week, which is Hellsweeper and Ruins Magus. And it's like, I don't even know like what to do at this point. Like, do I halt everything and try to work backwards, or do I focus on the future? And honestly, I'm not even in a position right now today to figure that out. So, thank you so much, Myles, for going out there. And you're a weight. If anybody doesn't know this, I think you can probably tell just by watching the stream. Myles is a much better representative of anything than I'll ever be, because I'm antisocial. I get out there and I'll probably just seem standoffish. People be like, "Oh man, Brian's got fucking something up his ass. Like, what a fucking ego on that guy." But really, I just freeze up in social situations. So, Myles, you're a much better representative than I'll ever be anyway.
Well, I appreciate that, but I will also say we are very much yin and yang. Something I talk about often with people is I'm very aware that I'm quite optimistic to a fault, and I know that you're very critical sometimes to a fault, and we kind of counterbalance each other in these conversations. And I find that's the case with every show, whether it's Wes and you. you and AJ. I like that we have these mix of perspectives and stuff. And so, we all have our strengths. And I'm just happy. And as you know, Brian, I asked you before I went there, like, can I apply as without parole? Like, this isn't something I take for granted. Like, it's a badge of honor, but it's something I take very, very seriously. And it's people in the industry really do think highly. Like the fact that people are asking to reconsider the review. If it was just any old channel, they wouldn't ask. They'd go, well, people really do value this community. And we actually had someone in the voice chat just before the show, didn't we? Was it Ace who'd come in, and we asked him for his story of like how he came about, and he said he got PSVR, the first one, with the Iron Man bundle.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he got PSVR2 at launch, and he says it was the reviews and the community that made him just have a much richer experience with VR, which was definitely my experience with this community, and I'm sure many people in the chat will relate to it as well, which is it goes back to this problem we hear again and again, which is when we hear people saying, where are the games? And I know we've mentioned this before, but we'll just underline it extra. Not just that there are games, but you really have to look hard to find the games. And if you're someone that's not part of a community like this, it can sometimes be quite difficult. Like, I've only got so much money to spend. There are a lot of games, but a lot of them are new IPs or indie games I've never heard of before. How do I know what's going to work and be decent? And also VR gaming is a lot more personal. You're going inside the game. There's a much more personal connection you have with games, and I think it means that getting the one that's right for you is even more important. And so it's why this community is great. It's not just all the great stuff Brian does with the reviews and all the features and all the discussions we have on GAMESCAST, but you, the community, who, if you haven't already, do join our Discord, because if you ever got a question, you get stuck on a game, or you're not sure about buying something, everyone is there just to sort of say, this is what I thought of it. And we just help each other out, not just find the right games, but find the right experiences within those games as well.
Yeah, I'm glad there's a counterbalance here on Without Parole to say, hey, here's every new game that's coming out, and there's a lot of good stuff that's out there, because it's so weird that the narrative out there on PSVR 2 has been the complete opposite of what's actually happening. There's no games, there's no good games, there's no shooters, so people are happy with what they have. It's like the whole thing is kind of embarrassing, and you take 2 seconds and look around and you find out that everything that people are saying in the mainstream is just not true. So I'm really glad that we have a community here that really understands how good we have it, I think. But Myles, we have a lot of tips. You ready for
what?
this?
We have a generous community that tips? What?
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody out there keeping the lights on and keeping the channel running. And even when I have a slower week like this, where I don't have reviews coming up every couple of days or breaking news videos, it makes me feel good to know that I can stay in bed when I need to and heal and get better. And you guys still have my back. It means a lot. Get in my belly. GameCat Wilkins with the $5 tip says, I want to get my tip in quotes in first. Also, shout out to Get in My Belly GameCat Wilkins, who tipped during yesterday's show right before I hit the end stream button. He threw a $20 tip at us, and I did want to say I saw that, and I appreciate you very much, Mr. Wilkins. Not sure Brando Das Krautcat with the $5 tip says, because you guys are not ex-porn star TikTok NPCs. I feel like that's a critique about our looks. I feel like I could be an ex-porn star. You don't know. Professor Lilith with the $5 tip says, hi, GameCats. Hey, Professor Lilith. This week's Sunday multiplayer game will be After the Fall. I guess Wes will be happy. That makes one of us. Deluxe edition is 55% off on the North American store.
Wow.
2 p.m. Sunday Eastern. I do make fun of After the Fall a lot. But dude, if you haven't checked out the free PSVR2 update on that, it does look really clear. The graphics are great, and the haptics are practically on Tales from the Galaxy's Edge level. It is great haptics in that game.
I actually did that as one of my Let's Plays last weekend, and I had an absolute blast with it. And it's a game I definitely want to play more of. I even played the what's the PvP mode? I can't remember what it's called, but it's really good fun. Really, really good fun.
Sorry, I was just doing research here for the next tip. Yeah, and if you don't know what Professor Little is talking about, make sure you join our Discord. Click the link in the description below. We every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we all get together. We pick a different game every week. It gets voted on, so this is actually decided by you guys. And this week's multiplayer game is After the Fall. So if you're one of the people out there who says, I've got all these multiplayer games and there's no one to play with, the lobbies are always empty, well, this is on you now, because we've given you a place to get these games together. And actually, because of the hard work of our good friend Nick Mulo over on the Discord, there's now different multiplayer roles for different multiplayer games. And so, like, if you just say, hey, I want to get this game started any day of the week, anytime, you can tag all the people with those roles and say, let's do it. And those people will be notified. They'll get sent notifications because they've opted into that. And so our Discord is quickly becoming the place to play every PSVR2 game multiplayer. So no more excuses, you guys. Come join. Alhambra D, Catallergic Game Cat, with the level 3 membership, says Brian is the MKBHD of PSVR. I looked that up, and It was somebody I've never recognized. You know what this means?
No, but
no, neither do I.
I agree.
Nope. But thank you, Alhambra. I appreciate that. That sounds like a compliment. All this malarkey sent a couple tips. One Australian $8 tip and another $15 Australian tip. That says, last time I watched something on Netflix was back in December. I tune into you guys every week. I've just canceled Netflix and signed up with you guys. I really appreciate all you do in the PSVR space. Dude, the fact that anybody's watching Without Parole more than Netflix might be the greatest compliment you could possibly send me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know you're not watching us more than HBO Max, though, because if you're not watching 90 Day Fiancé UK, I don't know what you're doing with your life. And then Emily Baxter, hashtag the Cartoony Witch Game Kit with a $2 tip, says Quantum Error looks like it should have been a VR hybrid. I think one of the Game Cats tagged Quantum Error or responded to a tweet that Quantum Error put out and said, your game looks like it would be perfect for VR. And they said they're open to the possibility of it. I'm pretty sure that's the game that's in question. So they didn't say it. They didn't say it's going to happen. They didn't say that that's not going to happen. It's just one of those things. It's nice seeing developers open to the possibility of these things. So let's let them get their game out, and then we can bug them about it. So, all right, and I think that gets us all caught up here. I could be wrong.
We had a few more come in.
Is that true?
Oh, we had one. Oh, it's been retracted. Mustafa Vank.
All right, perfect.
And it was a $2, but
Andrew,
I think it still came free.
Andrew Bailey with the 2 quid says, FYI, latest PSVR2 update knows if your IPD has changed. Yeah, right before the show, I jumped into Crisis Brigade 2 to check that out, and it in fact knew that my IPD had changed. Or that the lenses were further away than they should have been. So that's really nice, because I think a lot of people probably jump in and they have no idea what that's all about.
Well, that is cool.
Just want to scroll up here. I love this new feature on YouTube that allows me to just look at tips and switch back and forth between tips and chat, which is very nice.
Oh, yeah, I see that now. That's amazing.
Right? Thank you, YouTube, for finally doing something that helps with this show.
YouTube is innovating a lot lately. Like week on week, they're doing a lot of tweaks with their live stuff. So it's really good to see.
Amazing. Well, Myles, 20 minutes past schedule. I think it's time for us to get to our very first topic of the show. And that is that yesterday, the Crisis Brigade, now called Crisis Brigade, not Brigade, which is something I made fun of a lot when it came out, and now I'm kind of sad that they changed it to Brigade. But Crisis Brigade 2, the PSVR 2 version, is out and available. Yesterday it came out, but the upgrade path was broken, and so a lot of people were yelling, they scammed me, they screwed me over. And I was like, well, why did you give them your fucking money? Why didn't you just wait for them to fix the problem? But it's out, and Myles, you and I jumped in, and we both played a little bit of Crisis Brigade 2 before the show. Multiplayer. What did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I actually hadn't played the second one on PSVR. I thought I had, and in the download section, I was like, "Oh no, I haven't." But I played the first one, enjoyed it. So I was curious to see what the second one was like. I obviously knew the second one, they took a different, more realistic art style. The first point I'd make isn't actually about Crisis Brigade 2 specifically, but it reminds me when we're seeing a lot of different games come out, we go, oh, now this game has come out. Does it mean that people aren't going to want to play this one anymore?
Yes. Exactly. That was my question too, man. I'm very glad you brought this up.
And Crossfire Sierra Squad being an arcade shooter, there was this sense of, well, that's out now. That's, an amazing arcade shooter. Are we even going to want to play this? Now, I've only played 2 rounds of this. I did a solo one and then we played one together.
Yep.
Had an absolute blast with it. So this could change, but my initial thoughts are, no, these both scratch very different itches. This is on rails. It's a lot more duck and cover. Which you kind of do have in the realism mode, but it's just a different game. So I just wanted to get that out the way first for people thinking about how it would compare if you're really a fan of Crossfire Sierra Squad. But this game, the guns feel great.
And also, Myles, I don't know if I made it clear or not, but the upgrade path has been fixed today. I see somebody in the chat saying that's been fixed. And I was like, oh, if I've buried the lead on that, I apologize. Yes, it has been fixed today. Sumo Lab was on top of that yesterday. They put in a support ticket with PlayStation right away, and it took PlayStation like 24 hours to fix it. But yeah, you can now upgrade it for free. And if you put it in your cart, it still says $15 on the store, but you have to go to the checkout, and then it'll give you the $15 discount when you try to buy it. And so look at your payment before you hit the checkout button, but that's where it says, I've never seen it work like that before. Usually it just says, free download or whatever like that, or just download immediately. But you actually have to kind of purchase this one, and then it gives you the discount. Sorry for interrupting.
No, not at all. No, I was just going to say the guns feel great. It looks good. And I like that there's a progression system, or at least there's you earn coins that you can spend on upgrades and new weapons and that I don't believe the first Crisis Brigade had. So yeah, I'm having a good time. Can't wait to play more of it.
Yeah, I was very happy when I got in there today. This was a game that already looked good on PSVR1. It looks even better now, super crisp, clear. I don't think that these that this video does it justice. I think the lighting in there is really good, a lot of depth, and just this obviously does something to its detriment for some people, but to my enjoyment, take that however you want, that there's no crouch button. You really have to get in there and use the space that you have allotted to you. I get in there and immediately get down on one knee and crouch behind whatever I've got, and you've got to really use the cover in game the best you can, because they are shooting at you from every direction, and it just feels good. It looks good. The haptics feel great. I feel like that's something that Kano mentioned on Twitter, that was one of the things they wanted to update. So not only does it look as good as the PC version now, but it also is probably the best feeling version of the game out there.
Yeah, I think it's probably got past the point on the preview that we're watching, because I've been watching it on delay. But about the whole cover system, something I realised you could get was a riot shield. And so there's a bit where we're shooting down an alley, and me and Brian weren't able to talk to each other because you were capturing the footage, and for that you weren't able to hear me. But we did kind of work together, and I was hoping I wasn't going to hinder you, but I was holding the riot shield over, hoping that it was actually going to be good cover, and you were able to use it as that. So I do like those elements in the co-op, so that's really cool, and it'll be interesting to see what else you can unlock. I don't know what the other levels are like or how much content there is, but I know there's obviously varying difficulties. There are obviously different paths you can take, but yeah, it's a good time, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it.
I agree, man. I agree. It was also weird. I've got the worst memory of all time. We were in the lobby, the police station office, and there were just ducks you could shoot. And as soon as you shoot one, another one pops up, and it's like this little mini game that you can play while you're waiting for people to show up in your lobby. And I think there's a high score of 1,000 ducks. Somebody had a lot of time.
Sickening.
Yeah. But I've always liked Crisis Brigade too, and I'm glad that it holds up, because I Crossfire Sierra Squad with the full range of movement really did seem like it was going to make this kind of make this game extinct for me or make it redundant almost. But I got in, and yeah, it just feels so much different to play this than it does Crossfire. So I'm happy that these games can exist side by side. Love them both.
And I do think, I was saying earlier about how VR games are much more personal because you're in them.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that means that there is much more diversity of gaming experience. It's a lot harder to achieve with flat screen because you're using the controllers and that. But because in VR, you're in it and you're having to, get down and duck, or you're using the guns and they feel differently, or the way you reload them. It just means there's a lot more diversity. There's more chance of there being a game for you, your kind of game. And if I knew about all these shooter games coming out in this 1 month period, months ago, all at once, I would have been very concerned. And despite that, I've enjoyed all of them. I know I'm a rare case. I know there's a lot of people that have preferences for specific shooters, but despite how many shooters there are, I'm loving them all. And on the contrary, for October, there's going to be a lot of horror games, and I'm going to hate them all equally.
It's going to be my favorite month, and not because I love horror games, because I get to watch you be tortured for a full month. I think that's going to be great. I love my friends, Miles, but I also love to see my friends tortured.
Yeah,
I'm a weird duck,
dude. Phasmophobia. I'm hyped for playing that with you guys. It's gonna be good.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait to do a stream. I haven't done any live streams recently, but I am super duper excited for that. Dude, we got so many questions. We got tips. We got questions. People do not want this to be a short show today. First question we got that I want to address is from the chat. Shapeshifter R, the amorphous game cat. Shapeshifter. I don't know how to say that properly, but anyway, says, does Stride for PSVR2? And what are you putting a space between R and 2 for? How have I taught you nothing? Does Stride for PSVR2 have a single player story mode? Very off topic. I know, it's okay. Off topic is kind of what we're good at. So after I put the Stride story in PSVR this week, Joyway saw that and said, we just want to let everybody know that, it's not confirmed that we're doing this on PSVR2, but we are interested. And then on the very same day they said that, they also announced that Stride Fates would be a separate game. So all the people who had bought Stride in early access on PCVR, who were kind of promised a story campaign, are now sort of getting screwed and say, well, the Stride Fates, the story, the single player campaign is now a separate game. So the answer is, if it comes to PlayStation VR 2, my guess is that we'll probably get some kind of big deluxe bundle where we're buying 2 games in one type thing. But the answer is, there is no answer right now. Sorry. Alejandro D, Catalytic Game Cat, clarifies his last tip, the person with all those letters. Says he's a Q Tech reviewer, mostly phones, who started as a kid reviewing his laptop. He's now 17 million subscribers and just got quoted on Apple's latest keynote. Whew. I guess that's a massive compliment then.
Wow.
Thank you. I wish I started this when I was a kid. Antone Jones with the $5 tip says September 27th is a big day. Aw, you remembered. Oh, it has nothing to do with... It's a big day even if you're not a Quest fan, because the debut trailers for multi-platform games like Arizona Sunshine and Behemoth, likely Sony's blogs. Miles, you forgot about my birthday. Fuck Antone Jones.
Outrageous.
Fuck you. No. The 27th isn't that the Meta Connect or whatever? Like it's not their game showcase, but we should still see games showcased, I guess. I don't know. I
that was when we saw San Andreas, wasn't it? San Andreas was showing at that.
The logo, yeah. I remember when they showed the logo. Right, and then they showed no games for like 3 hours. Yeah. It was horrible. But yeah, it's always good to pay attention to meta events, because most games these days are cross-platform. Although Meta's been buying up studios left and right, so we will certainly start seeing more exclusives over there, I'm sure too. Ace Gamer, Cats, C-A-T-S, capital letter Cats, with a $20 tip says, least I can do is give a little back for all you guys do. I may never be a boss of a gamer as Myles, but I already love being a new member of such a great gaming community. I'm assuming this is Ace, who was in our voice chat earlier, so hello, and thank you, Ace. We appreciate it, man. All right, I think that gets us caught up, man. That gets us caught up, and no, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
In my belly.
Actually, we got Macho first. Macho, the real estate procrasting game cat with the $5 tip says, I've been having a lot of fun with it. Oh, with Crisis Brigade too. The negatives: no button crouching, can't play sitting down, no gun stock adjustment settings, and sometimes the tracking is bad. Did you have any tracking issues? I know we only played briefly, Myles. Yeah. I only played one mission. You played two. No tracking issues with you, or no? Yes.
No tracking issues yet.
Maybe we got to play more.
Yeah.
But thank you for letting us know, Macho. Always good to hear about things that we have not experienced ourselves. Get My Belly Game Cat Wilkins with a $20 tip says, love the show and everyone involved. This community is awesome. You're awesome. Game Cat Wilkins, you're awesome. You know what's not awesome, Myles?
Oh, hunger.
Oh, dude, I'm starving, but I'm like, oh, man. What's not awesome so much is Down and Out.
Oh, yeah.
We've been hearing about this game for literally years. A lot of people might remember, not to bring up a sad subject or anything, but a lot of people might remember when Dave talked about Down and Out and said that he didn't like the concept because it was about bum fighting. He thought it felt like, just kind of the themes just kind of rubbed him the wrong way. And if you only knew that the theme of the game, which I don't even think is really bum fighting anymore, it's just you're just fighting random people on the street now. The theme of the game is this game's least it's the least of its problems. The biggest problems it has is everything
it's GTA VR now, isn't it? It's the game we've been waiting for. Grand Theft Auto VR. This is it.
I love that they're calling this open world, because it is open world if you consider a small section of a level, small section of a city that's smaller than most games' regular levels, open world. And there's really nothing to do. I mean, I gotta spend more time with it. Please, no one out there consider this an official review. For the amount of time that I've played, there's no way I could review this properly. But there's nothing to do. You punch people, and the fighting system is terrible, and then a cop will see you, and you just run and grab a bike and get away from them very fast. The bike is the coolest part of this, because it makes it feel open world. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. Am I going to be able to jump into any car that I see? No. Am I going to be able to, is there any other means of travel? No. What else can I do besides fight? Oh, I can throw baskets. I can throw basketballs into a basketball hoop. And
have you gone on a bike yet?
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet, so I'm looking forward to doing that.
The bike's the coolest part of this.
That's cool. Good bike physics. That's good.
It's okay, but there's click turning only in the rest of it. It's really strange because the bike has smooth turning.
No way, does it?
Yeah, because you turn the bike with with the handles, and so just naturally turns. This is I just don't know what to say about this game. This is a absolute mess, and I don't understand why it was in development for so long, because we've been hearing about this game for years, and it legit looks like something that somebody pushed out in 6 months. Trying to get into that car right there. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I've played about 20 minutes of it, and I never want to say this about anything, because I do appreciate devs do work hard on their things, but this is without doubt the worst PSVR2 game I've played, by a country mile. Yeah. Because there's a general sense of I don't know what the purpose of this is. I don't know what the purpose is. It really is. The fighting is bizarre. It teaches you mechanics that don't really work, like blocking, charging up your rage meter so then you can punch fire, which doesn't really do a lot other than change the color and I guess do a bit more damage. You don't really feel it. I picked up health at the pharmacy, like this bottle of drink. Mm-hmm. and then I didn't know how I was meant to consume it. Like I just kept pouring it on me, and then kept looking at my health part icon, and it was filling up slowly. But I was like, I don't know if I'm doing it. So yeah. And everyone's saying clearly I've never played Good Dog, Bad Dog. I said PSVR2. Until Good Dog, Bad Dog is on PSVR2, we can have that conversation. But for anyone that is still curious, I will be doing a Let's Play of this tomorrow. So tune into my channel if you want to watch me suffer.
Yeah, I'll definitely be doing that.
Dude, look at this footage of you doing the basketball hoops. The timer goes so glitchy, doesn't it?
I don't know. I don't even, dude. I can't even fucking... I just cannot sink a single basket. Like, I think I got one in that entire time. If I got even one, I don't think I might. I don't even know.
I actually think the basket physics are better in Math World.
Yeah. VR. But you've seen the entire map now. If you guys saw, like, we're fighting that dude in the very first area, and then we took the bike, and then we went to the complete opposite side of the open world. And unless there's more to it that I just I'm unaware of. This is the entire game. It's basically like a city block that's just got a couple alleyways cut through it. It's not. This is it, and this is the other side of the city. We've made it all the way across the city in what, 12 seconds? Is that what it was? So,
the small little dude that gives you missions.
Yeah.
He creeps me out because his like facial animations are actually really good when he's talking. And I'm like, this just doesn't feel in place. Like, it's as if a real person has stuck their head into this VR world. Oh, look, I'm looking at him on the replay. Yeah, it creeps me out because everything else is just so like static. And when he talks, he's really animated and his mouth's moving and like, yeah. I'm actually getting trauma watching this again, realizing I was in this world. Also, the aliasing is so like, the quality is really poor. It doesn't look. It's not a nice to look at game, is it, Brian?
I mean, that again, the least of this game's problems. I was like, it's fine, it's whatever. I'm sure there was some shimmering and stuff, but I think the thing I was more concerned about was this terrible fighting engine that you'll see. Like, I punch a dude and then I have to just give it a second for the game to allow another punch to be registered. So I have to back up and then and it just, look at how slow these health bars go down. It's painful.
Just for clarification, Brian, Kevin Russ in the chat says, so it's not GTA, question mark?
So it's not. I think that was also
Kevin. Confirm that?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's not GTA. I saw James Wolfe say something along the lines of he thought that I was going to hold up the convenience store guy, and I tried. You can't. Like, so this is as far from GTA as you can get. I thought that at least cops would swarm me or something if I tried to do something crazy like that. But yeah, there's not a lot going on here, and it's almost so bad that it makes me want to get back in there and see if there's anything redeeming, because so far I have not found anything redeeming outside of the bicycle. And I wish more games had just random vehicles sitting around, including bicycles that you could just hop on and make your way across the map really fast.
There's no platinum trophy. Okay.
There's no platinum trophy? Is that confirmed?
That's what I'm looking at here, yeah.
Thank you for checking that, because I saw somebody ask in the chat and I had no idea if it did or didn't. Again, the least of this game's problems. But again, sometimes a platinum trophy makes playing a bad game all worth it.
Didn't get a trailer on the official PlayStation channel, did it?
Not recently, at least.
No, it hasn't at all.
Never. No. Okay.
Wonder why.
Carlonio Plum with the £5 says, love Alvo. Upgraded for a few quid. Wow for me. It's an interesting statement. Thanks. You and all your hosts are great. I'm just fixing my layout here. Why do things look all...
That's me giving the actual thumbs up. That's not me subliminally going, press the thumbs up. Please.
Myles, since we're so off topic, in Carlonio Plum, sorry, this is where I'm at today. Just brought up Alvo. Did you have any Alvo thoughts? Because we talked about it a little bit on Wednesday with Wes, but you haven't had a chance to chime in yet.
Yeah. So I've had a chance to dive into it. I did a bit during the beta process, but had a lot more of a play recently. Firstly, love that the progression has moved across. That's great. Really good to see. I feel like this is a stupid question, right? But the frame rate is much higher than it was on PSVR, wasn't it?
There's an option. There's a variable frame rate adjustment option.
Is there?
Yeah, you can do native 90, or you can do 60 reprojected to 120 now.
Oh, I wonder what the default is. I mean, Alvo is in the chat, so I'd be curious to hear. But basically, I was really impressed with the frame rate. It was really smooth. It just means that when you're running around sliding on the floor and stuff, it just feels great. I went into some free-for-all matches and just getting my ass handed to me.
Yeah.
I was just getting absolutely decimated. So I need to practice. I think the one issue with having all these shooter games, even though I'm enjoying them all, is learning the different mechanics of like when it comes to reloading and stuff like that. Unless it is possible already, I do wish there was a way to customize the buttons, because there are a couple of buttons in the game that I might get used to, but I'm not enjoying, and that is the R3 is for jump. I wish that was for crouch and sliding around. Did
you notice that the new firmware update for PSVR2 allows you to customize your buttons?
Well, you can do that anyway, couldn't you? I've been able to like swap buttons around. So I don't know what is different in the new one. But because I did it when I played the Transformers game, because I don't know if you remember, it canes your hand just constantly pressing with the resistance on the adaptive triggers. So I changed the shoot button to the X button to make that easier. So that's what I used it on. Alvo says it's 90 by default. Yeah, I mean, it looks great like that as it is. So yeah. And then the other thing also, and I know you and I had a conversation about this, and you're fine with it, I'm not. But again, that's why I'd like there to be customization.
Right.
Is when I need to reload, I eject the mag, I grab a mag, if I'm correct, with the grip button, and then I put it in, and then I have to use the trigger button to pull and cock it. I might have got it the wrong way round. I just wish it was the same button for both, because I just keep going. Yeah, so interestingly enough, I'm having a good time with it, although I'm just completely out of practice, and I'm just getting completely destroyed. And I will learn the controls eventually, but maybe I'm just being lazy, saying I just wish I could switch the buttons around for my preferences. But yeah, I'm excited to jump into a lot more of it.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. All these games, because there's so many shooters right now, you just got to learn all the different controls for them. You know, Alvo's got it's got its own grenade throwing mechanic, which is you basically aim with your weapon hand, and then you throw with your offhand, and it's super precise. But at the same time, it's yet another thing that you kind of need to learn. Definitely like it better than aiming with your eyes. I'll say that.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, and I saw somebody ask in the chat if it's crossplay with Quest 2, and yes,
yes, it is.
By the time the game launched, it is now crossplay with Steam and Quest, I believe. So I think we're good to go on that. Tip from Getting My Belly Game Cat Wilkins with a $10 tip says, I bought Alvo today, but I won't have a chance to play it for 2 weeks. Work. Oh man, that is hopefully in 2 weeks you'll have a lot of time to get caught up on a lot of games, because in 2 weeks there's going to be even more games for you to play. So hopefully you've got like 3 weeks off in 2 weeks. Myles, yesterday was as far as I'm concerned, I think we had an amazing day yesterday. For State of Play. The thing kicked off and we saw Resident Evil 4. Is that how it started? Was it start with Resident Evil 4? I think it did.
Yeah.
Why do I keep clicking on myself? I mean, I clicked on you. There we
go.
No,
it was Ghostbusters first.
It was Ghostbusters first?
Yeah. Because then it did Resident Evil, and then it did the DLC, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Which was flat screen, yeah.
What were your thoughts on Ghostbusters? Were you happy with the gameplay reveal?
Yeah, I was. I just think it's a game that we're not going to. This is probably sound a bit of an obvious point, but we're not going to know until we get to play it, because they can show you all the mechanics. We know if there's ever a concern about End Dreams, it's not about the quality of their game mechanics and everything else. It's about the amount of content that's there. So we're not going to know that until we play it. But I just can't wait. I think this is going to be amazing. My favorite types of games are shared VR experience, social co-op games, and this just, as someone who remembers playing it on the Master System, I just can't wait to experience this. It's going to be amazing.
Did you have any thoughts on the price points that they revealed? There's a $35 version of this game for just the basic, like get in and play, and then there's a $55 containment edition, I believe, or whatever it's called, and it's got, I mean, it's $20 extra, and it seems like a lot of skins and extra avatars for you to use in multiplayer. And then it also says something along the lines of you get the next 6 months of DLC included in this.
Wow.
And so it seems like this game is going to try to microtransaction us to death. I mean, that's the impression that I got, at least, saying that, hey, we're giving you for $55 instead of $35, we're giving you a discount on all of these microtransactions that you can buy in game. And there's going to be 6 months of this on top of it all. Did you get the same impression when you read that, or no?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like, does this mean there's going to be a lot of content at launch and they keep adding to it? I think that comes to it. If all the DLC in that is now making the game become what people want, so they play the actual game and say, there's just not enough content here, and now we've got 6 months of DLC to make up for it, that's going to leave a sour taste in people's mouths. If there's a lot of content at launch and we enjoy it, and there's a lot of unlockable cosmetics and stuff, and then you can buy all this extra stuff as well, then I think that's great. That is the only concern. And to be honest, I hear some game cats in the voice chat at times saying they're worried. They're worried about how much content is going to be in this game, and that's completely fair. I wouldn't say I'm worried. It's just something I'm mindful could be an issue. But I just feel for this. No, there has to. I think there's going to have to be a lot of content for this.
Yeah,
it's a massive IP. Sony are all over it. Well, Sony Interactive with the film studio, but also for PlayStation, this is a coming together of a lot of different things. And if it's good, it could be a system seller.
What I'm happy about is I think a lot of people are looking at this in two different ways. I think a lot of people are looking at this pricing structure and saying, "Oh my God, they trying to charge us $20 more for all these microtransactions," and you look at it, and it's technically stuff you just really don't need, especially at launch. At least, it doesn't look like any new levels or actual content. It's superfluous things that a lot of people don't care about, weapon skins and character models. It's like some people just want to get in and play. So I actually look at this from a completely different angle, saying I'm glad they gave us the option to do the $35 cheaper model, so that if you're unsure, you can get in and check it out, and then sort of just buy the things that you're interested in. And say, they gave you this kind of deluxe version for people who just are going to be all over this no matter how they do it. So I'm glad that they did this. I'm glad that they gave us the option and didn't just say, hey, it's $55 across the board. Also 10% discount with Plus. So it looks like it's $31.50 and $50 for the two different prices. And for a multiplayer game, you're going to want to have Plus. It looks like I might have missed a tip here, Myles. So let me make sure I don't steamroll anybody accidentally. Holy shit. Red Rover, send Joe Grover right over with the $5 tip. Thank you so much in the chat. Whoever, Twitcher, thank you for pointing this out. I missed a tip. Red Rover with the $5 tip says, howdy, it's been a long time. Yeah, it has, Joe. Hope all is well. This game is what I came back to. LOL. It's no Paper Beast. this was a little while ago. So now I'm like, I think, were we talking about Alvo? What were we talking about? Oh, probably Down and Out when he sent that. That's perfect. Macho, the real estate procrastinating GameCat with the $5 tip says, bought it purely based on this channel's word. Haven't played it yet, but I was stuck on Time Crisis Brigade 1 and MK1. Let that show developers how much you do for them. Looks like we sold a game, Miles. Whether we sold a game, intentional or unintentional. And then Alvo VR with a $10 tip. This is when it gets sketchy, Miles. When developers just start sending you money, and we're like, we don't take money from developers, and then developers are like, we're tipping you, and I was like, well, I guess that's a thing. With a $10 tip, Alvo says, I want you for Alvo Army. I'm sorry, man. I'm a member of the GameCat Army, and I don't think you shall sway me to change my allegiance. That is not a thing. All right, man. We also get the release date, October 26th for this. So it is coming out peak Halloween season. Sadly, likely the same day or within the same couple of days that Phasmophobia is coming out. So talk about two, I'll call them massive horror multiplayer titles that are vying for our attention. It is going to be the best awful problem that I've ever had since starting the channel.
You're going to love Halloween.
Yeah. Yep.
It's going to be the best ever Halloween you wish you never had to deal with.
Yeah. That's a thing.
That is a thing.
Excuse me.
The Halloween's getting him already.
I need to find the mute button for easy access. Getting my belly, GameCat Wilkins with the level 2 membership says his time off in 2 weeks is only 5 days. So that's not going to give him nearly enough time to play all the games he needs to play. That's a shame. All right.
Well, I know you know this, Brian, but because I'm going on vacation next Saturday, I'm going to the States for a week, and I feel like that has timed it very well because, I mean, there are going to be some games in that week, but like there's a lot that's come out at the moment that I'm going to try and cram into this weekend. I've got a few Let's Plays planned during the week, and then I'll be away, get back at the start of October, and then hopefully I'll be nice and refreshed to get ready for the onslaught of games. But yeah, it's just, there doesn't seem to be a week you can go without dealing with new releases. And I'm sure there'll be some surprises yet to drop.
Oh, I'm sure. The shit never stops. Another good surprise that we had yesterday was a little bit more about Resident Evil 4. The interesting thing is that based on the wording of the State of Play description, the date when they first announced it,
winter,
it didn't seem like something as big as Resident Evil would show up. They were talking more about indie titles. They're talking about games that had already been announced, this is a game that has already been announced. But man, if I was only going to see one other game at State of Play yesterday, other than Ghostbusters, this was obviously the game that we wanted to see. And yes, amazing trailer, I thought at least, and a huge blog post. And when is it coming out, Miles?
Winter.
This winter.
Not next winter. Winter.
Not Evan Winters. This winter.
Yes.
Which a lot of people mistakenly said right off the bat was like, oh, it's coming this year. I was like, well, there's only a few days of winter this year. And I think that if it was coming this year, they would have said December. But I think
the holidays, wouldn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Come in
I think we can probably expect Resident Evil 4 VR in like February. That'd probably be the safest bet for it. But yes, winter is coming, Nihilus Ryan. Winter is coming. Do you have a level of excitement for this? Did you finish Village? Miles? I'm putting you on the spot.
I never got to play Resident Evil 4. I never played Resident Evil 4. So I didn't play the original or the remake. So this is going to be my first time ever experiencing it. And I love the parrying of the knives in this. This looks epic. This is more action-based. When I was a kid, my first game was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which is a lot more action-based compared to RE2. So I definitely think RE4 is going to be something I enjoy a lot more than RE8. And when I say enjoy, not that it was a bad game, it was an amazing game. I was just a scaredy cat.
Well,
but yeah,
I'm gonna enjoy the story of Resident Evil 4 more because Village was very fantastical. And I'm like, all right, I mean, like this is about as far into fantasy as I want survival horror to go. And this is, and it kind of veered away from horror to kind of like monster of the week fantasy elements. So this is I know the chat probably won't agree with me, but as somebody who bought a PlayStation 1 because of Resident Evil 1, and that became my favorite game and favorite game series for a while, I was unhappy with the direction that the game took, or the series took, starting with Resident Evil 4, became more action focused, and then obviously that sent it down the wrong path for at least 2 more outings until it finally found its way back with Resident Evil 7. So being a little more action heavy, I think though is great for VR. And it's not something I'm going to mind whatsoever. I'm going to really enjoy the action, really enjoy the horror, and being in VR first person, and especially being the remake, I think the horror is going to be amped up to a level that I've never experienced in any version of Resident Evil 4 prior to this. And I'm so happy I didn't play the remake, because this is how I wanted to play it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I know a lot of people saying, "Oh, Myles, you didn't finish RE8." I didn't, but
I was gonna let that slide. I wasn't even gonna fucking pressure you about it. I feel like I already gave you enough shit.
Yeah. No, the reality is, I think, and I genuinely mean this, there's a lot of games I would love to do, like play more of as Let's Plays, but I am just on this mission to keep getting through all these different games. And I think if Halloween wasn't as stacked with horror games, I would definitely do. And look, there's a chance that I might find some time and I go, let's dive into RE8. Do you know though that Resident Evil Village was my first Let's Play on PSVR2? Like in terms of a singular game. Obviously, I played a lot of different games at launch, but my first singular VR game was Resident Evil Village, and I think it is still my most viewed one.
Yeah, that doesn't make up for you not finishing the game, Myles.
Oh, it doesn't. But
now that you've continued the conversation, I have to ask how far you've made it.
Oh, not far at all. I've I'm probably like three hours in or something like that. I've been in the castle and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm not that far at all. I haven't come across the baby yet.
Okay. Yeah, you've got a ways to go.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I will. Dude, I'll go to bat for Village any day of the week. There are some super tense moments, some really scary moments in that game, and it's just fun to play in VR. Like, just really fun. I love the progression that it gives you, even though like it doesn't have any of the trophies, and it mixes things up. You don't get the mercenaries mode. The way that it incentivizes you to play over and over and over again, and you get the newer weapons, and then you can upgrade those newer weapons. And once you have the stake and have upgraded that to unlimited ammo, and it's all over, man. It just changes the way you play that altogether. And so I hope Resident Evil 4 has that same type of replayability. And on the PlayStation blog, they said they learned a lot. This is the same team that ported Resident Evil 7 over to VR. This is the same team that did Village in VR, and it's like they've learned things. And so I'm curious to see if there are any noticeable differences between the way they implement VR in Resident Evil 4 VR mode than they did with the Resident Evil Village VR mode. I doubt it's going to be anything drastic, but I bet there's going to be subtle things that we see here and there. Over in the chat, we got Get in My Belly, GameCat Wilkins with the $20 tip. Dude, I think you paid my mortgage this month. Thank you. He says, also off topic, but I loved watching Myles' No Man's Sky Let's Play. Was that a recent one after the update, or did you do one before that?
Yeah, it was after the Echoes update, so it was a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
That did surprisingly well, because I did that the same week as quite a few others came out. I'm just having a scroll down now to see. So I think I did it the same week. Oh, I did it the same as Crisis. Crossfire Sierra Squad. But No Man's Sky, yeah, totally blew up. and it like surpassed Firewall and everything else. It's done very well. It's just there's a lot of buzz for No Man's Sky, and everyone's just talking about how great it looks.
Steve CLT, also known as Alvo, the Alvo CEO, the Game Cat. This is he said with a $10 tip, he says, at the risk of pissing off who knows, can I get an Alvo buy, sell, or piss off? Can we sell Alvo? Is that I didn't know that was one of the options. I feel like it's buy, wait for a sale, or skip. But if we can, dude, I'll sell Alvo. Like no, I'm not going to sell it. But anyway, he's changing his name to GameCat means that he is desperate for some attention right now. So shout out to Steve CLT, the newest member of the GameCat Dojo. What's your impression of Alvo, Myles, for Steve here? Is it buy, wait for a sale, or piss off?
For me, it's if you're into shooters and you like fast pace, I think it's a buy. I also the only time I would have hesitation of like if this is a game to get into is if you've already sunk hundreds of hours in already. Because like Pavlov, for example, I've done tens and tens of hours. I don't really play it anymore, and it's not that it's a bad game. It's just that I've spent a lot. I've spent an awful lot of time in Alvo on PSVR, but I'm actually looking forward to playing a lot of it now, especially with just how it feels. But I don't know. It's just about preference of the kind of shooters, because I know shooter fans are very particular with the kind of shooters that they're into. So I do think it's a hard thing to say, but I think it's a buy.
Yeah, I certainly want to spend more time with it before I put up my official review. Obviously being sick has pushed my schedule back a little bit. But I've been enjoying the time that I've spent with it. I've jumped in with random people. I've jumped in with friends, and I've had a good time. The people I've been playing with have had various responses to the game. All kind of all over the map. And but for me personally, I've been having fun. And I love that the price is right. It's $20, and you get a ton of different game modes, and it's $5 for the upgrade fee. And so knowing that it's I'm just going to throw a random number out there. I don't know what the final review score is going to be, but it's like for me 7.5 kind of thing out of 10, where it's decidedly last gen, but still feels really fun to play. If you keep that in mind, I think it's priced accordingly for that. And I do think that it offers a couple modes like Search and Destroy and Hardpoint that I have a lot of fun with. So if that all works for you, then it's a buy.
Steve says his cat's picture is literally in the game.
That makes
got to find this
official Game Cat. And then we've got one more tip here. We've got Time to Play VR with the £5 says, did you know you can fit 437 cats in a Ford Fiesta? I got this info directly from Cats. I think we need a disclaimer. Wow. No cats were harmed in the making of this tip. I want 437 cats. Where do you even get 400? You know what? I should stop asking questions, Myles. It's probably the end of that. All right, man. And then our final news story is that Third Verse announced a new game. Third Verse, if you're not familiar, is the developer of Swords of Gargantua. Also, more recently, Altair Breaker on PSVR2. Their new game is called Soul Covenant, and they're describing it. Is it Soul Covenant? No, that can't be right. It's not showing up. What's it called, Myles? Help me out.
Soul Covenant.
Oh crap! Where the hell is it?
Wait. What was the question?
I can't find the trailer.
I can send you it.
Oh, thanks.
It is here. You got it.
Yeah, I just got to do a quick little.
Steve, by the way, said thanks for indulging me.
You got it, Steve.
This is the thing. Is what we were saying at the beginning with the C Smash stuff, that we love the attention from devs, but it's like this is a community that means a lot to a lot of people, and yeah.
All right, there we go.
Ryan Baran with the $10 tip. The Spider Sense controllers scream Spider-Man VR, even as built-in web shooters. Where the grab button is positioned. Also, where's that Killzone VR announcement? Oh man,
dude. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've got so many thoughts on this. First of all, Spider-Man VR would be a dream come true. But Killzone VR. If you guys don't remember, if anybody wasn't around when I broke this story, but Killzone VR, you should have asked what's his name, Alejandro from Supermassive. You should have asked him about this because I got inside information that Killzone VR had been outsourced from Sony to Supermassive, and that was actually a thing that was in development back in 2019. And after like 2 years in development, it got pulled back in-house. The word I got wasn't that it got canceled. It said they just kind of took it back from Supermassive and decided to make it in-house instead. So there was at one point a Killzone VR game being made by Supermassive for Sony, and we don't know what happened since then. That's sort of where my trail goes dark, and I don't have information what happened after that because Sony doesn't like me very much and they don't tell me shit. And so because then I tell you guys shit. So I would be surprised if we don't hear about that at some point, because this was something that they wanted to do. So, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that we haven't heard about it yet, but this could be something that's been in the works for a couple of years now. If it got pulled back in house in 2019 or 2021, now I've got my timelines screwed up, but that means it's been in development in house for at least a couple of years now. So I think I do feel like we're going to be seeing something about that at some point soon.
I did think one of the enemies in Crossfire Sierra Squad looked like the Killzone guys. The guys with the big hammer. Yeah. They had these glowy eyes. Yep. I was like,
100% agree. Yeah. You think they were trying to tell us something, Myles?
That's it. They were like, this is all you're getting.
Yeah. All right, let's check out this trailer here. Let's go full screen with the trailer for Soul Covenant. Again, so the funny thing is they're calling this a tactical shooter. Does anything about this look tactical to you?
Well, shooter.
Like, it just looks like just nonstop action. Like, I don't see anything tactical about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, my concern about this is, now this is supposed to be coming out first half of 2024. My concern about this, I think, is obvious for anybody who's watching the channel for a while, anybody who's been keeping up with Third Verse, and that's that their support of their games hasn't been great. It's only one notch above Joyway level, I think, at this point. Swords of Gargantua got some support on other platforms, not so much on PSVR1. And then Altair Breaker came out, and that was the end of the story. It was a game that was obviously built around the promise of DLC. It felt bare bones when it came out, but it felt great to play, and it would have kept feeling great to play if they kept dropping DLC. But they just said, no, this is the game. There's no more coming. And I thought that was really, really odd to build a game, the structure that really was designed for DLC and then not deliver DLC. And so my concern is that they haven't learned any lessons. And maybe it all comes down to sales, Myles. Maybe if Soul Covenant drops and it gets millions of sales, then they'll say, well, we should stick around and keep supporting this. But I feel like it's not going to get millions of sales if they have sort of developed this reputation for not supporting their games.
Right.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, it was the egg.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then that conversation's over. But I do think that this looks good. I think that Third Verse makes games that are inherently fun to play. I was addicted to Swords of Gargantua for almost a month. I played the crap out of that, and I loved the gameplay loop. And in Altair Breaker, I loved that too. I played that nonstop for a week or two in order to get that review done, and I had a blast with it.
I still haven't played it. I really want to play it because I think I'm going to enjoy it.
It's super simple, and and after you play it for, I don't know, I think I got like 20 hours out of it, and that's probably way more than most people will. But I had a good time with it. So, well, we'll keep you updated on this game as more information kind of comes to pass. But with that, Myles, I think it's time to play a little PSVR 20 questions. What do you think?
Ooh, you're choosing, right?
It is indeed my choosing. So let me bring up my game that I've chosen on the screen for myself, so I don't AJ the fuck out of this, and we can get the ball rolling. Okay, there we go. I know how to do this, Myles. I swear to you, I know how to do this. All right, you ready? Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this.
Everybody in the
GameCast,
chat,
need your help.
Help them out. This is never easy. So make sure you suggest good questions to ask and suggest good answers. Suggest good games based on the answers. This could be any PSVR 1 game or PSVR 2 game. Let's do this. On your mark. Get Des. Go.
Did this only come out on PSVR 2?
No.
Oh.
What does that mean, Myles? What does that mean?
Did it only come out on PSVR?
No.
Okay, so it's been on both. That's all right. Is shooting a thing in this?
As we have decided, Myles, you have to specify what shooting means. Are you shooting bullets? Are you shooting arrows? You have to specify in your question.
Are you shooting bullets in this?
No.
No bullets. Do you have hands in it?
Yes.
You do have hands. Okay. Has this game been mentioned tonight?
Yes. That's 5.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. Can you play co-op?
No.
Okay, no co-op. I feel like the fact it's been mentioned today has made this even more difficult. Just because
really testing your memory.
I've just forgotten the entire episode.
That's right. You fit right in.
Do you fight with swords?
No.
No swords. So a lot of people are saying that, and I don't understand why people are saying that. No, people. It's been on both PSVR and PSVR 2. Man. And it's been mentioned tonight. Sorry, just all the suggestions in the chat at the moment are a bit of a lag. So it's it's not. Everyone's asking stuff that it definitely isn't. Is it a puzzle game?
No.
It's not a puzzle game. No. Why is people asking these questions? Is it spacey?
Like outer spacey?
Yeah, outer spacey. Yeah.
No.
Not outer spacey.
Is it Kevin Spacey? Maybe.
Yeah. Has it got lots of space in it?
Right.
Is it a top 25?
No. That's 10 miles.
I'm still wondering in the chat. Like most of this stuff just does not. Is it a horror game? Why are people still asking questions about?
No. I was waiting for you to finish your sentence, but no.
Wait, did it come out on PSVR as well? Can you ride a bicycle in this game?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize this was out on PSVR as well.
That's where I thought I was gonna get you.
Yeah. Okay. Does it have strong fighting mechanics?
Oh no, it does not have strong.
Okay,
that's
thrown me off a bit.
Yeah,
that's thrown me off a bit.
Yep. Miles, I'm tired.
Would you say this game's name is like the opposite of up and in? Brian, I'm going to put you out of your misery. Is it down and out?
It is down and out.
Oh my goodness!
The opposite of down and out would be up or in, not.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
So the answer is no. No,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, definitely. Instead, Bridget's question was: is Brian bad at basketball in the game? I'm gonna defend myself as somebody who's not huge into sports. I can sink baskets pretty well, and this basket feels like it's a little underinflated. That's the best way I can put it. It feels like it.
To be fair, I struggled. I also struggled with the mini game where you got to throw the stuff in the trash.
Yeah.
Did
you search for the wallet in the dumpsters?
I found it, supposedly. I never saw it, but I found it and I went back to him and went, thanks. But I never remember picking it up.
Yeah. I mean, I found it and it was stupid.
Sorry, guys. Spoilers. There's a mission where you got to find a wallet. Sorry.
Yeah. It's the most boring mini games ever. Yeah. All right. Guys,
well done, chat. Well done, chat. You were all on the point. I was losing my mind because the first questions I asked threw me off completely about if it's on PSVR 2 or PSVR 1. Did it come out on PSVR 1 at the same time?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
People are correcting me and saying that the opposite is not or. The opposite of down and out is not in or. Oh my God. They're saying nor. Nor would have been the correct. Neither in nor. Neither up nor in. I hate this so much. I hate this conversation. I hate this game. And in fact, I really want to end the show as soon as possible. Get in my belly. GameCat Wilkins with the $10 tip says, great show, guys. Thank you. I feel like you guys out there made it awesome. We really, really appreciate you being here. Miles, thank you for being here. And thank you for again for representing with that Parole at WASD yesterday. Shout out to Josh Pickle and anybody else that you might have.
Joshua Pickle is how he's going to be renowned now.
From now on. That's the best I got, man. That's the best that the two brain cells I can rub together are going to remember him by, Josh Pickle. And everybody else that you met out there. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to Myles Dyer over at youtube.com/Myles. The link for that's in the description below. Also, don't forget to click the link in the description and join us over on Discord. We'll be doing a Sunday Multiplayer Meetup with After the Fall. It's better than it was on PSVR 1 and way better than it's ever been on a Quest headset. So make sure you get your free PSVR 2 upgrade and join us over there and join us on Discord to hang out, shoot the shit. I hang out there way too much. Thank you to everybody who helps this channel run, all the moderators who I love so dearly, and I probably don't tell them that enough. Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry, that gets timestamps into this after the fact. Rypop, who puts us up on podcast services of your choice. All the cats out there who support the channel financially, over here by being a member, and over on patreon.com/withoutparolegames. We appreciate you oh so very much. Everyone who tips during the show, everyone who helps out during 20 questions, shoots the shit, and everyone who sits back and watches the show and doesn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there. And we love you just as much. They're still, for the love of God, telling me what the opposite of down and out is.
This might never end, Brian.
Happy Friday, everybody. We love you all.
Happy Friday. Have a good one.
That didn't work. Let's try it again.
Have a good one. Happy Friday. Bye.
Back in your cage, Miles. Back in your cage.
Yes, master.
Alejandro D. Catalytic Game Cat is like, clip of the week. He said it 3 times. I guess we have to do it.
Guess so.
All right.
Inside the mirror.
Clip of the week comes to us from 4D Game Cat, who you guys may remember his little montage. Was his last hole-in-one montage for a Walkabout Mini Golf? Was it the laser layer?
It was laser layer. Yeah,
All
it
right,
was.
Well, he's done it again on the hard mode of Alfheim. You ready to see this? It doesn't matter. We're doing it anyway. Let's go.
Whoa.
Here it is. I'm going to turn this shit up. Get some music to go along with it. There we go. These are all hole-in-one shots. So if anybody needs help in Alfame, this is really impressive, man. This is really impressive. Like, it just takes forever to figure out what the angle for these things are.
And this is the spoiler, because I was saying it's, I think it's the only course so far where you play backwards on the hard course. Is that right?
I believe so. It's the only one where you start at the 18th hole and make your way back to the first.
These are amazing. Wow.
It's really good. Really good.
I respect that, because
Rob
resetting
Axel.
the shot, if you want to redo it again, isn't easy. You have to literally go to the practice menu and go start again. Like, yeah, it takes a few seconds, but it is a lot of hassle. So the amount of time to do this, impressive. Unless you did do it all back-to-back, hole-in-ones, because you're just an absolute god.
Right. That would be insane. Just the fact that he did all these and then edited it all together, kind of craziness.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody puts this much work into clip of the weeks other than 40. This is 40 space game cat. I don't know what his current name is, something like. But if you ever see anyone named 40, tends to be 40 space or 40 something the game cat. So. I've lost track of how many we've done.
Well, I'm watching on a delay, so and also I've lost count.
If it starts to repeat, there we go. That is the end of it. Thank you, 40, for submitting that. Guys, don't forget that if you want to be clip of the week, that you can go over to our Discord and submit your clips. They don't have to be nearly as big as this. If anything weird or crazy or whatever happens in any of the game that you're playing, just clip it and submit it for clip of the week up in on our clip of the week channel. It's right next to the viewer takeover channel, so all of your GameCast needs are in the same place over on Discord. Good night, everybody. We love you all.